Hello, welcome to my channel. Today we're gonna work on this Among Us imposter. I know a lot of people have been obsessed with this game, so all you're gonna need is a main color, some light blue, and some black yarn. I like using worsted weight yarn for my projects. You're also gonna need some embroidery needles, some stitch markers, some pins, and a 5mm crochet hook, and some fiber fill stuffing. Oh, scissors. This is why I don't like doing voiceovers. And there's your stuffing. So we're gonna start with the mouthpiece first. I prefer to chain 2 and work on that very first chain, but you can also, if you prefer to use the magic ring, use the magic ring. You're gonna single stitch 6 and then magic ring. You're gonna join and then chain 1.
3, 4, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
For round 2, you're just going to single stitch increase in each stitch. You should have a total of 12 stitches. Make sure you're joining and chaining 1 after every round. For round 3, we're going to single stitch in the first stitch and then a single stitch increase on the next stitch, and we're going to do that a total of 6 times. Join and chain 1 for a total of 18 stitches. I'm going to speed through a lot of these parts because I don't want to have an extremely long video, so sorry if it's a little too fast.
4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1.
So for round 4, things are going to change a little bit. We're going to single stitch in the first 3 stitches, and then we're going to single stitch increase in the next 3 stitches. This way we're going to work on more of an oval shape instead of a perfect circle. So single stitch 3, single stitch increase 3 times, and then you're going to single stitch in the next 6 stitches. And then you're going to single stitch increase in the next 3 stitches, and then single stitch in the last 3 stitches. You're going to join and chain 1. You should have a total of 24 stitches at the end of this round.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2.
So for round 5, we're going to single stitch in the first 3 stitches. Then we want to single stitch increase and single stitch in the next stitch 3 times. So wherever we did those increases, you're just going to do the regular increases that you would do on a regular circle. Then you want to single stitch in the next 6 stitches, and then we're going to do a single stitch increase, single stitch in the next stitch 3 times, and then single stitch in the last 3 stitches. And then instead of joining, we're actually going to do our color change while we do that join. round 6, which is the last round of the mouth. You know, we did that color change, and we're just going to slit stitch in the back loops only all the way around, and you should have a total of 30 of your main color stitches. And then you're just gonna fasten off, no need for a long tail or anything. So we're actually gonna start on the body now. So just like previously, you can either do a magic ring or a chain 2 and do 8 single stitches, join and chain 1. For round 2, you're just going to single stitch increase all the way around for a total of 16 rounds, join and chain 1. For round 3, we're going to single stitch increase and then single stitch on the next stitch 8 times. You're gonna join and then chain 1. You should have a total of 24 stitches at the end of this round. Not sure what happened to my video here, but I actually didn't record rounds 4 through 8, but they're very simple. You're just gonna single stitch in each stitch, join and then chain 1, and then I will meet you back later for the mouth part. So we're gonna go ahead and attach the mouth. So our starting point is gonna be where we did that join with the blue on that slit stitch round. And what we're gonna do is we're actually gonna work through the body and the mouth. So you're gonna go through your stitch on the body just like a regular stitch, and on the mouth you actually want to go through that back loop. So it's going to be that stitch right before you did your slit stitch, which should be your the last stitch of that round 6, and you want to do that for a total of 15 stitches. So you're going to work through the body and through the back loop of the mouth for 15 stitches. Bit of a hard time there trying to get through those back loops. check that you've done 15 stitches, both through the body and the mouthpiece. And we're actually gonna finish round 9 only working on the body. So the last single stitch and the last 9 stitches of just the body, and then you're going to join and then chain
1.
So we're actually going to start round 10 only working on the mouth. So we're going to attach it to that very first stitch, and be very careful here where you don't get confused that you're not actually joining on the slit stitch. Go to the one right after. See, I tried going on the wrong stitch, and that's actually the slit stitch. We technically already used that stitch on the previous round, so we're going to go to the one after that and join, and we're only working on the back loops only of the mouthpiece, and you're going to single stitch through the 15 back loops of the mouthpiece. And I'm actually gonna go ahead and stitch mark that very first stitch that we made, because it can get kind of confusing when you come back around where to do the join. So once you worked on the 15 stitches of the mouth, we're gonna continue and finish round 10 working on the body only. And make sure again that you're placing it on a stitch that wasn't already used. So we're just gonna single stitch in the last 9 stitches of just the body. Join to that first stitch of round 10 and then chain 1. For round 11, we're just going to single stitch in each stitch all the way around for a total of 24 stitches. We should have 24 stitches both in round 10 and 11, or 9 and 10, and then 11. round 12 and 13, we're just gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna single stitch in each stitch, join, and then chain one, and then I'll meet you back to start on the legs. So for the legs, this is a little bit confusing. It should work
Now we're gonna work on the
both
legs.
ways,
So
or the
first
same
leg
way
should
for
work
both
the
left-handed
same
and
way
right-handed
for
people.
left-handed
So you're just going
but
to
for the
single
right-handed
stitch in the first
I'm gonna
6 stitches.
talk you through. So this is technically row 14. So you're going to crochet in the next 6 stitches.
Now we're actually going to go ahead and then skip 12 stitches. And then we're going to work our
Crochet
next
on
single
that
stitch
13th
on that 13th stitch. And then single
And
crochet in the
single
last 5 stitches.
Crochet in the next.
And then we're going to join and chain one.
Going to single stitch all the way around for the next 3 rounds. So round 15, 16, and 17, single crochet all the way around.
So you can see that we closed off the leg here. And then for round 15 through 17, we're just gonna single stitch in each stitch, join, and chain one.
We're actually going to go and single stitch decrease all the way around, so you'll have a total of 6 stitches. Join. We're gonna leave semi-decent tail, about 8 inches. Just gonna go ahead and fasten up. So at this point, I like stuffing the doll. So we're gonna grab some stuffing. So first we're gonna fill up the top of the head. So when you're stuffing it, you wanna stuff it kinda compact. Not overstuffing, but plenty of stuffing where you get a really nice shape. Now make sure as you're stuffing that you're not pushing this part out. So stuff it kind of comfortable like that. Kind of hold this flat, so right where we're going to massage everything in there. Okay, so before I start stuffing the body, I want to do a couple of rounds of this second leg. So we're actually going to start. So I'm going to hold it like this because I'm left-handed. So I want to go in the same direction that I made these stitches. Now you should have 12 stitches here that you skipped from that one round, from round 14. So you can really attach it here, you can attach it here. Because I'm joining and I have the seam here, I kind of want the seam to be on this side. So I'm actually gonna go I'm gonna count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I'm gonna attach my hook on that 6th stitch. Now I know for right-handed people this is gonna look flipped. So for right-handed people, you want your back on your left side like this, right? So obviously this doesn't work because I have a leg there. But you're gonna work the same way. You're gonna go this way. So you always wanna go towards the back and then come around. So for right-handed people, if this was your back, let's see. Sorry. If you're gonna be working on this leg, see there's my join. And then you're gonna go back and then around. And that's how you're gonna join. So your back has to be on the left side. For left-handed people, your back's gonna be on the right side. So I'm gonna go ahead and attach braided yarn. Yeah, you don't have to be picky as to where you put it. I just like doing it right in the middle there, just so it's like the other leg. So chain 1, we're gonna single crochet 6th, so it's clean. And then you flip your work so you can look at these unworked stitches. And see, this one's worked on, so it'll be this one. Make sure you want to keep it tight. And then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You should have 12. And you're gonna have a hole right here, but don't worry about it because we're just gonna close it off with this long nail. So, join. And just like on this leg, so technically we did round 14. We're gonna do round 15, 16, and 17 with single stitch all the way around. So, oops. So now before we finish off this leg, you wanna pull your loop, and then we're gonna start stuffing the body.
I'm gonna speed through this part just because I realized that it was way too long. But first you want to start one leg and just really massage it in there until you're happy with the leg, and then you can start massaging the body or stuffing the body. And as you're putting the pieces in, make sure that the mouthpiece is not getting pushed up too much. So really massage it and work that stuffing in there. making sure that the mouthpiece doesn't pop up too much. And then you can just finish off by stuffing the leg that we're going through. And then after that, it's just like on the other leg, we're gonna single stitch decrease all the way around for that very last round. Here you can see that I didn't stuff that leg all the way up, which is because when I was working the stitches, I didn't want to crochet in the stuffing because I've done that so many times. So I grabbed one of those fancy sticks that come in with the stuffing and just finish filling up that leg until I'm happy. And if I feel like I need more stuffing, I'll just continue adding. Obviously, for some reason here, I decided not to use the stick. I decided to use my crochet hook instead. They both work the same. It's really not a big deal. And at this point, you can just grab your needle, and we're gonna close off the leg hole. So with your short tail, you can just go through. I like going through the back loops and then pushing that through and then weaving that tail in. And then with the longer tail, which I mean, doesn't matter, whichever one you use, we're gonna close off the leg hole. And then, like I mentioned before, we have a little bit of a gap right in between the legs. So I just go through and back stitch it closed and then weave in my tail. And that is it for the body. And next we're gonna work on the visor. I mean, technically I'm not sure if it's called a visor, but just the glass part or the face part. What are these, little astronauts? Is that what they are? I don't know, my kids love them.
1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 4, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4.
So for the little visor, we're gonna need some very light blue and a little bit of black. So for this one, we are going to chain 6. On that second stitch, we're going to do a single stitch increase. We're gonna single stitch in the next 3 chains. 3, with 1 chain left, and we're going to do a single stitch increase. Now we're gonna work on the opposite side. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're gonna do a single stitch increase, single stitch on the next 3, 3, and on that last one, we're going to do a single stitch increase. And you should have 14 stitches. Now, I'm not going to join, I'm just going to go ahead and single stitch in each stitch across, or around, sorry. on that last stitch, before finishing off the single stitch, I'm actually gonna head and swap colors to the black. And now we're going to single stitch on the back loops only. So 1, 2. And we're gonna slip stitch to that first one, or join, and cut off our tails. Leave them a little bit long because we're not gonna actually use stuffing for this one. We're actually gonna stuff it with just the tails to just give it a little bit of a bump. So grab your doll and place it right in the middle, and I'm going to pin. You know, I accidentally. Oh no. This is why we don't record late at night. You want to leave a longer tail here on the black, because that's what we're going to use to join on to the body. So let's hope I left somewhat of a long tail there. Okay, so if you're happy with that placement, you can actually start attaching it. So with your main color, gonna work almost the same way that we worked up the eye. So we're just gonna go ahead and chain 4 this time. On that second chain from the hook, we're gonna do a single crochet increase, single stitch on the next chain, single stitch increase on that last chain. And now we're going to be working on the opposite side. So single crochet increase and a single stitch and a single stitch increase on that last one. And for this one, I also didn't join. We're just going to work on continuous circles, and from now on, you're just gonna single stitch in each stitch. And I did this for a total of 6 rounds because that was what I thought to be the perfect height. So, oops. Just gonna go 1, 2, 3, gonna join and flatten it out, and we want to leave a long tail. So now grab your needle, tapestry needle. I may have accidentally called it an embroidery needle earlier, not sure. So when you hold it flat, we're just gonna go 1 to 1 stitch. And I like taking that back loop with that, I guess, back loop. We're just gonna, whoops, what's that? Turn this. Oh, there's a little back. Now you can pin it in place so it doesn't shift when you're attaching it. Kind of like you're gonna center it in the back. And just the same way, we're just gonna attach it.
And we're done. Thank you for watching my video and hear me ramble for 40 minutes. And you can hear all my awkwardness in these little voiceovers. But I hope you had fun with my video and that you can make your own little imposter from Among Us. And I totally said that wrong because, you know, accents. But yeah, if you do make it, please tag me on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, anything really. I would love to see your creations. And yeah, subscribe for more videos, and you can always comment down below what you would like to see, and then I can try to make it happen. Thank you guys. Bye.